All right, so here we go. Coming live to you from my kitchen. Okay. So I wanted to talk about some things in crypto that I'm finding really interesting. We're starting to get to the place where looking for those 100x, 1000x, those crazy gem hunting, we're at that part where gem hunting makes sense. You've had an entire bear market where you should have been looking at projects you like and finding things that are interesting, the stuff you think has potential. You should have been looking there, right? And if you haven't been looking there, you still have time, right? We're at the place when those kinds of DCAs are starting to make sense. Higher risk investments starting to make a little more sense. Nothing I say is financial advice. This is not any financial advice. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. I'm going to tell you what I am looking at and what some of the things that I'm doing with my money are. Again, I'll probably get wrecked, right? This is only my second go around. However, I don't want you guys to get wrecked. So learn from my mistakes and I will talk about them with you guys. One of the first ones that I'm going to start talking about here that I'm really excited about, because I think that crypto gaming and blockchain-based gaming is going to be one of the big things. I've always played a lot of video games. Like some of my favorites. I'll go back to Kingdom Hearts, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Sly Cooper, good game, underrated, Rayman, right? So those are PlayStation games. Then we're talking about Destiny, Fortnite, Starfield, Cyberpunk. I could go for a while. Whole bunch of awesome games. Games have really changed a lot. Grand Theft Auto. One of the things that I think is going to be a game changer in the gaming space is once we have that hit game where you can take the gains and like your progress, the value of your progress from one game, and sell it into another game. So at that point, you own the rights to everything you've accomplished in the game, instead of it being like it used to be, where you're playing a game, you are spending time and value into the game, and then there's nothing that you have to show for it. So this will change the dynamics of that, where you're able to then transfer certain kinds of value into other games. My brother, personally, he hates that because he thinks that once you add monetary value to games and like different types of monetization, then the competition gets cut out, because then you have the highly skilled players and then you have the very rich players that can pay for the value that makes their character more successful than the other. And some of that stuff is debatable. The ideal situation would be that somebody would think about that when they're creating the games, so that way you can't just be overpowered from the jump. Okay, you're wondering why I'm talking about games. So games are one of the smallest sectors in crypto right now that have the biggest potential to be one of the biggest sectors in crypto. What we will need is like a super huge game, right? Axie Infinity is the one that comes to mind, where that was huge. It was one of the first play to earn games that was like a unicorn, just went absolutely parabolic crazy. Who are the people that make the games that I like? It'd be Activision, right? Call of Duty. But Activision Blizzard, right? They just got accumulated, became this big thing by Microsoft. Those are the kinds of games that I like. There are a bunch of other studios, right? Bethesda Games is another one that comes to mind. However, one of the gems that I feel really strongly about, that I believe you should do some research into, and I'm going to pull some stuff up about it in just a moment. It has a lot to do with Blizzard, right? Comes to mind, where that was huge. It was one of the first play to earn games that was like a unicorn, just went absolutely parabolic crazy. Who are the people that make the games that I like? It'd be Activision, right? It has a lot to do with Blizzard, right? All right, so here we go. So this one is Games for a Living, and this is actually probably one of my top favorites. There's a lot of reasons for it. One of the biggest reasons is honestly the team, but look at that chart. Look at it. It's absolutely beautiful. Also, right now you can get this for almost a little under 4 cents each one. So I think it's a great accumulation area. Okay, full disclosure, I definitely own this coin. Let's see if I can move myself out of the way. There we go. I totally own this coin. This was one I was interested into for a while. It took me a while to actually purchase, so I bought somewhere around here. So this would have been like a little over a penny, and now we're up here almost 4 cents. So I'm doing really good on this one, but I do believe that in the bull market that this is going to be one of the best gaming coins, and when gaming pops off, I expect this one to do phenomenally well. If this one becomes the gaming studio that actually creates that super game that brings everybody in, I think it'll be definitely one you'll want to hold on to. So here is just a little bit. You can go to their website, gfile.com, and the About Us is where you're going to see all of the people on the team. So just the team is really a like rockstar cast. Alright, so some of these other projects that are gaming projects that I'm really interested in, that I've been looking at a lot here lately, one of them is going to be Superverse. So Superverse, the reason that I really like this project is because they're kind of trying to attack mass adoption in a different kind of way. Elio Trades is actually one of the people that's involved with this project, and he is behind the game Imposters that is coming out. It might actually already be out. I know that there was an NFT sale of the avatar that was a super good success, and I really do believe that a lot of the aspects of the game that he's created are for creators, so that people have more opportunity to play a game that is a lot more dynamic. So people that like stream and different things, playing with your friends, it's a lot more interactive, innovative way to kind of go after gaming and crypto gaming adoption. So I really like the angle that they've taken. One of the things that I've noticed with most all gaming tokens is that basically their tokenomics are terrible. And so the way that you have to think about these is about the projects that they're creating, and rather you think that they're actually going to have a lot of hype, because the entire gaming sector is a really small part of crypto as a whole. You know, like the majority of everything is basically Bitcoin, Ethereum. Everything else is so much small, but also has a lot more potential to grow over the bull cycle. And so one of the reasons why I really like Super, I currently hold a very, very small bag. I want to accumulate more. I was waiting for a pullback, but of course, like, 'cause that's the problem, right? You get spoiled in the bear market and you're waiting for it to get lower, and then you don't buy any. So actually, something that I personally do, not financial advice, but it helps me, is if there's a project that I like and I'm interested in, I'll buy like a super small amount. Like this could be like $5-10, you know, something like that in this, because then it forces me to learn, first of all, where I'm going to store it. Some of these you need a super unique wallet, or like you're not able to hold everything in the same places, so it requires like a little bit of research. So I'll do that research, I'll purchase the little bit, and then I'll hold it somewhere. And then like as I go, I kind of look for dips in the price, right? At this point in the market, it's possible that some of that might not be seen as often, right? Because I think that here very soon, we're going to start just in an upward trajectory. But what I like to do is I like to purchase just like a very small amount of them, so that way if I notice a noticeable dip in the price, that's when I'll usually like double up. So like let's say I bought $10 worth of Superverse. I see it's down 8% instead of $10. I have, you know, less than $10. Then I might buy $20 worth. And then like that's kind of how I go about accumulating, and I keep that number in mind. So that way I'm really dollar cost averaging to a better price while accumulating what it is that I'm trying to hold for the longer term. So tokenomics on a lot of these gaming tokens is kind of it's kind of a shot in the dark, because a lot of them have a lot of like tokens. Like look at almost half of the supply is yet to be released, so you're gonna have a lot of inflation basically in the supply, and so that's gonna hurt your gains. However, I want to show some of these other projects. So Ultra is another one I really like. And so like think about it like this, okay? So the height of Ultra's market cap was almost like, we'll say, a little under 700 million. When you're thinking about how much growth that we're likely to have in this bull run, as well as thinking about the amount of money that actually is in gaming just in general, I do believe that within the next, we'll say 10 to 15 years, so the next couple cycles to 3 cycles, I definitely believe that the whole crypto gaming market is going to be at least $1 trillion. I personally believe that the whole crypto market is going to grow to an exponentially high amount, right? I think that $11 trillion for Bitcoin is like reasonable, and I think the rest of the market is going to go pretty crazy, parabolic. So some of these smaller projects, this is actually why I look at these market caps, right? 700 million. How, like, the way that I like to think about it is how much market share that I believe that some of these projects can have once we get to close to the top, where these valuations are super exaggerated and like things are going crazy. Like when people are spending money on ridiculous stuff, Lambos to the moon, all that stuff. That's going to be when I would be getting out of my positions, or at least taking off my risk from the table. I mentioned moonbags earlier. For all of these projects, I'm definitely planning on getting moonbags. I don't hold any Ultra, but one of the reasons that I like it is, again, it's another good gaming team, as well as you have to take into account that this is a gaming studio, and so you have a lot less risk with a gaming studio where they have the opportunity to produce multiple different games. So if one's not a hit, maybe another one's a hit, and the project can still do very well. Some of these, and I'm not really going to say anything negative about them, but something like, okay, Vulcan Forge is a project that I think is going to do very, very well, but it is like a specific niche. Not to say that I don't think that that one's going to perform super well, but if they unrolled everything and then it did very poorly, then it's kind of like the whole thing, in my opinion, you wouldn't have too many other things to like rely on. Whereas these like studios that are creating a whole range of things, and this could be a lack of knowledge on my side. I definitely, Vulcan Forge is one of the ones that I want to look into a lot more. I do plan on holding some into the bull market, but yeah. So this is why I like Ultra. It is another gaming studio. One of the most like obvious, well-known gaming studios in crypto is going to be Gala Games. So like if we do get this ridiculous run up, right? I think the top was, almost 5 billion. And so like this is how I'm kind of thinking about it. You look at some of these smaller gaming cryptos and you have the opportunity for them to achieve something like Gala has achieved. I think Gala is going to achieve much higher, but then again, looking at the tokenomics, you have a whole lot of tokens that they are going to be dumping on your head. So like it's like the price appreciation is going to struggle to get above all of the inflation in the supply. So seeing Gala get back to 80 cents, which I think was close to the high, let's actually check that out. Oh, it's like 60 cents. 70 cents. Okay, so like almost 80 cents. Seeing Gala get back to 80 cents, to me, it's hard to imagine because of how huge that the actual market cap is going to have to be in order to catch up with like all of the supply that they're going to be just dumping on our heads. So, I mean, like, realistically, my expectations for Gala are like definitely tamped down, but like, we're currently at around 2 cents. So like I kind of see, I think easily 20 cents. I think probably a safe 40 cents, if we go much higher than that, then like I think that's great. But like I would have my expectations definitely like a lot more reserved with knowing how much supply that is actually going to be coming out onto the market during these high periods. Another project that I really like is Illuvium. So Illuvium is a super good project. If you look into it, maybe I will go to the website. We'll check it out. But anyways, the market cap for Illuvium was 1.2 billion. And it doesn't really show anything special here that I'm really trying to see. My understanding is that a lot of the tokens that are not in the supply actually are going to like game incentives and different stuff within that ecosystem. So my understanding is that the tokenomics with Illuvium are definitely like better than the majority of a lot of different crypto projects. But again, look, you've only got the 38.6% of the supply actually in circulation. All right, so another one that is kind of different, but it still fits into this category, but it's going to be Seedify. So Seedify, the reason that this one is actually on here is because it is a launch pad. So some of the crazy projects that have come out on Seedify have actually been one of the most profitable ways that you could get into some of these investments. It's kind of like you get to invest with them before they come out, and then they come out, and there's been like some really great things that have come off of this launchpad, but a lot of them are gaming related. And so Seedify is kind of like by proxy, you're investing in a launchpad for gaming, which some of these winners could come from here. The next winners from the next round, the next bull market. And so that's the reason why I really like Seedify. So we've been kind of looking at and observing some of these market caps, right? So this one, we're talking about like 350 million for Seedify at the top of last time. I do believe that all of these will hit higher percentages of market cap. I definitely believe so, because we're going to have a huge inflow of institutional money. I don't think that we're going to have seen anything like what we see this bull run. I think that this will be the first time. But the reason that I'm talking about market cap is because, okay, this project, Cornucopias. So full disclosure, I do own a tiny bag. I think probably less than $50, less than $100 for sure. But I also have a couple of NFTs for this project. So Cornucopias, the reason why this one is super interesting to me, first of all, looking at the market cap, the absolute top, we're talking about like 40 million. So right here, we have a whole lot of potential and opportunity. This hasn't even actually, like, the game hasn't come out to market yet. Let's actually find out when it's supposed to come out to market. Let's see. We'll just go here. Let's see when the release date is. Which, I mean, this is... The fact that it's not out is a good thing and a scary thing, because, you know, it could come out and it could definitely just flop. But let's see what we can find out real quick. But I really like this game. It is actually on Cardano. One of the reasons that this game is super interesting to me is because they are going to implement a function that includes learn to earn. And I think that in the future, gamified education is going to be one of the biggest niches. Like, when we get to a place when we have digital identities and like all of our, I'll say our like portfolio, everything we've accomplished, our certifications, our degrees, and everything else is all digital. Our different licensing is all digital. Everything is going to be digital, and it'll be attached to a digital identity. So I think that in the future, when we have like decentralized schooling and different types of education that we can access from everywhere, I think that gamified education is going to be a huge thing. So I think I own actually one of the like custom domes that they sell for this game, and it's having some trouble loading. But I would really like to find out when they're actually releasing. I know that this project has a really strong team behind it. They were endorsed by Charles Hoskinson, and he's not one to like just endorse things. But you can see the quality of what they're building, I believe, is going to be really awesome. They're still relatively small, right, and growing. So that is why this is kind of like one of my moonshot picks, because it just takes a lot less money for it to get to like the higher points. And I think that this could really go exponential. And I actually remember this thing right here. There was a NFT sale that they had that was actually for trees. So every like NFT you bought was like correlated with a tree that like existed that was planted. I thought that was a super great project just in general. I think that they used that as kind of like a marketing thing, but also like it had real world implementation. You were seeing like you could read the information about where specifically that tree that you got is like planted. So it's like wild. You could see it on a map. It would show you the whole thing. Okay, so look. They are achieving the goals on the roadmap. This is something you definitely want to see. Okay, so here we are. So, Kopi Wiki update. So this will be like the original story. They're going to update the story. Public events in Las Vegas. Yep, didn't make it to that. So Megadome, PC early access. So public testing then is going to be still in Q4. So, I mean, Q4 is almost over right now. NFT flying vehicle. Let's see what's going on in 2024. Host and earn founders, Kopi data nodes. Interesting. So they'll have founder nodes you'll be able to do. Cornucopious game. So PC game early access public testing. So this will be at the beginning of 24. Right? And then so PC tools update. Public alpha, beta, and MVP, metaverse launcher, wallet, testnet. Gotcha. So the custom domes, this will be towards the end of 24. So basically the end of 24. And see, so this is like huge to me, in my opinion, because towards the end of 24 and the beginning of 2025 should be when we're hitting like those ridiculous valuations. So investing in this earlier, well, what my plan is to invest in it where we're currently at. Let's go back and look at the chart. Oh, we can't because I got out of it. Cornucopious. We'll say CoinGecko. Alright, so we're looking at 3 cents. Let's see what the actual absolute top was. Let's see. So we're going to max. Honestly, when it came out, it could just be down. Yeah. Yeah. It is basically just down. So it started at 3 cents. The absolute low was like basically 3 cents. And we're still at 3 cents. So the fact that it was actually, honestly, let's see, was it less than a year old? Oh no, it did start lower. Why did max look like that? Oh, I didn't have it right. So the absolute top was around like a little over 7 cents. We're currently sitting at 3 cents. And see, like, what is this? So this is January 22. So this was at the end of the bull market. So they released right then. Right? And then so I just think that this time we're still talking of relatively really small market cap, right? Like under 30 million. I think that this could probably be at least 1 billion, if not several billion, when the project actually comes out in the like heat of the bull market. And so like as far as price goes, I would have to do some serious math and figure that out for you. But yeah, so Kopi Cornucopious. So this is kind of like one of my like higher risk picks, but I like it because I have conviction in Cardano and that whole ecosystem. So that is actually the reason that I really like this one. So honestly, out of these, I think my favorite projects personally are going to be Games for a Living. We already know Games for a Living is probably my favorite. I'm biased. I hold a very small bag, but hopefully I can get that bag up. Trying to get like 5. If I could get $5,000 in Games for a Living, I think that would be crazy. Definitely am not at a place for that, but DCA, slowly I'll accumulate something, so we'll see what goes on there. But and then I really like Superverse. I'm really liking Cornucopias now even more. They actually also have a whole ton of token unlocks that will be coming in the future. Let's see what it actually says about tokenomics. Oh, no tokenomics information for this token. But yeah, so Cornucopias is one of my higher risk. Definitely don't invest in any of this stuff. It's, you know, it's not financial advice. Don't do it. But if you do it, do your own research. Make sure you know what you're getting into. Make sure you know how to store it and keep it, which I actually do want to make a video soon actually about how to even get started. A lot of people don't know how to get started. So thank you guys for your time. I am going to make a video explaining how to get started in crypto, how to purchase your first Bitcoin. Obviously not the whole thing unless you're rich. Either way, how to self-custody, all of these things that to me are basic now, but I'd like to explain them to everybody so it's really easy to understand. But these are some of my gaming opinions. Let me know in the comments if there are any that I need to look at, any new stuff coming out. I love that. Anything you like, what makes you interested in crypto, what brought you here, and hopefully I'll have a lot more content coming out for you guys. But have an excellent day, have an excellent night. Please leave a like, costs you nothing, and comment something. Tell me something about your day. Take it easy.